What's going on, YouTube? Earth Power here with CVH,
How's it going, everybody?
and we are back with another match in the top 16 of Season Three's bracket tournament, trying to find the best deck.
Woo!
Will it be one of these two? Light Dark Fire Nature, Foul Control versus Water Dark Aggro. Two decks that never saw the play-in because we just felt like they deserved a spot.
It's true.
Light Dark Fire Nature Foul Control being a semi-finalist in Season One's bracket tournament, losing
Not
out
even. It
to
was an
Light Water
actual
Dark.
finalist.
Yeah, sorry if I,
Yeah.
I said semi because it
Put
was
some
one of
respect
two. But yeah,
on
no, it
Fal's
was
name.
literally a finalist, and then getting not necessarily, well, yeah, blown out, if you will, by the play-in winner of season two and Firewater Rush. But yeah, Light Dark Fire Nature Foul Control back. You guys saw the profile a few days ago. Definitely go check that out. The winner of these two decks will go on to face Fire Nature Rush, which that match a few days ago. Definitely check that one out. And yeah, Foul is up against Water Dark Aggro.
Yeah, sort of an
New kid on the
offshoot
block, if
aggro
you will.
deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been pretty popular in the IDC, popularized by Claude Alpha. I don't know if he created the version that's going around now, but he's definitely the one playing it all over the place and doing really well in the IDC circuit with it. So yeah, Foul Control has another one of these, I don't want to say off meta, but like non-fire nature rush aggro decks to go through in this bracket
Yeah.
tournament.
Yeah. Absolutely. And yeah, kind of feeling good about Foul's position, right? Like the deck's built to essentially handle aggro decks, right? Like the Bronze Arm into Sky Sword is one of the best ways to deal with aggro. But the big thing is seeing that progression. I
Yeah,
have a
I mean,
two-card progression
especially
where
this is the 40 card meta, right? So the odds are higher
yeah,
than they would be even traditionally, where, in the
yeah,
IDC meta, the aggro decks are still 40, but the foul decks or Forbos decks are like 48, 50.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And just looking at the opening hand, it does not look like I have nature. I will say a card that's hard to deal with, right? It's Crystal Spin Slicer. So 4 Aqua Guard, 4 Spin Slicer. You guys saw the deck profile. That card can do some work. So
Your hand sucks.
yeah,
It's got a Searing Wave, but no way to
did.
get to it early.
Yeah, did not see Bronze Arm Tribe in the top 8 cards there. So things are looking grim. So
My
and
curve,
you
however,
are
looks
just
pretty great. Oh no. Oh
pretty great,
no.
but a first shield Terror Pit, sometimes it'll just help us get there. So yeah, considering here, it's slightly difficult if I just want to take you off of Liquid People. If I have the volcanic uh, volcano charger, if I have any other 2,000 power removal, like the card just deals with your board. But
Well,
unfortunately, I miss my 4 drop as well, and things are again continuing not to look great. But first shield pit helps a lot.
I feel like even if you had volcano charger, excuse me, you'd probably just go for the attackers, right? Like Spin Splice is annoying, but like you got swaps to deal with it, you got pits to deal with it. Maybe going for the attackers is probably okay. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Spin Slicers were, but like if you deal with the other things, if you deal with the liquid people, then like Spinning Terror just starts beating you down, same as Spin Slicer.
Yeah.
So you'd have to have a third
Um,
piece of removal.
Yeah,
Green Waves is
sometimes
great.
Terra Pit just helps you get there, but yeah, Searing Wave is fortunately no spin slicer, so Searing Wave will get me there. Lucky Ball will replenish your hand, but now essentially Foul gets to cook, right? So I saw that I have Sky Sword in hand, so that's got to be the play this turn. Um, and then I just have to out momentum whatever you're able to play the following turn, and I should be fine. If I have APOC, again, at worst, I'm going back down to 2 shields. Yeah, and again, just continuing to bank on you not having Spin Slicer. So
Well,
I think the
Skysword doesn't
mana
even
choice is
match up
what's difficult here.
super
Yeah,
nicely here. I could see if you had removal for Lucky Ball, that being a little bit better. Like especially if there's like I don't know, Rebirth or something.
yeah. I think mana is getting
Wait,
difficult
Rebirth's not in
here.
this version of the deck. What am I even talking about?
Rebirth's not here. And I think even if I had Rebirth can't deal with Lucky Ball, right? Like I don't have any 4 drops in this version of Foul.
You're right. I just thought it was a different deck entirely. I'll be over here if you
Okay,
need me.
all right, sounds good. Yeah, no 4 drops. Go check the profile.
Wow.
Um,
Clearly didn't
and
watch the
there
profile.
And there's Lucky Ball. Number 2,
Yeah.
keeping your hand huge and making it difficult for me to deal with.
You know what they say,
So
balls are better in pairs. So I'm playing the second
yeah,
one. Great.
it's what they say.
Yep.
That is what they say.
I've
Yeah.
got both my balls firmly on the table right now, and we're gonna see if Carl can deal with them. Got
Might be
anything for
able to get in
this?
between them with a sky sword there. We'll see.
We'll see.
See.
My balls are quite large, Carl. They're larger than Sky Sword for sure.
I-
Sorry.
I'm out of yeah, no, you keep going. Your the color commentary is great. I got nothing to add, however.
Yeah, trying to toe the
Yeah, so
line
we're
before
gonna
you get demonetized. Oh, there is a rebirth. What are we talking about? It's right there.
yeah, no, I'm running. I said
Oh,
I'm
okay.
running
Okay.
Rebirth. I just don't have any 4-drops I can
Oh,
get.
okay.
There are
Okay. Okay.
zero
Okay.
4-drops in the deck.
Wow. Whose decision was? Really? We didn't put like one locomotiver in there?
Sure didn't.
Jeez.
Sky Sword will help me chase a little bit. Belix, if it sticks around, can take a can take one of your balls with it. Uh, but,
God willing, right? Yeah. Oh, geez. Here they go. The balls are coming in. They're coming in
balls.
swinging.
And yeah, yet another 4-drop that Rebirth just can't do anything about.
Yeah.
And I'm just losing my mind over here because I think you realized it. I think I realized it on like turn 6 that the 4-drops are just impossible to deal with. The balls are too large.
It's true. It's so
It's
true.
happening, guys. It's happening. Lucky Ball is actually just staring down 2 of them. Just a solid pair of balls you got there.
Thanks, Carl. Been working on them for a while. Really, they've really taken over
They
this
really
game.
they really came into themselves. Yeah.
They did. Yep.
Yeah.
So
Searing
you're
Wave.
deciding between a couple
I'm.
options right now, one of which I
Yeah.
think is Meltdown, right? Is
Yeah.
that
Yeah. Meltdown is the only answer here, and I'm just trying to think that if I can stabilize out of destroying something here, that Meltdown can be my answer out because I have Soulswap. I know I have another blocker, and I think I'm wishing I had one more mana so that I could APOC. But unfortunately, I just don't have the mana to do all of those things. So, and I
and
don't want to necessarily rely on mana bricking myself if I swap out Sky Sword for Sky Sword. And even
yeah,
then, APOC isn't even like an actual like you could just have the spin slicer. So
but I
I'm
think, I
not
mean, looking at it, my deck doesn't have pits or surfers. It has spiral gates and locomotivers, and 2 spiral gates are already in mana. I think, like, even if you could do those plays, I think Meltdown is just higher odds to win the game. It seems more reckless because it's like, okay, I'm going for it now, but like, given that my deck doesn't have surfers, which it doesn't, or pits, which it also doesn't, like, there's 2 you have to dodge, and you could even hit a spiral gate and still win. You just can't hit both of them. So you go for it,
yeah.
and you kill me.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Meltdown continuing to prove why it's one of the quote unquote cheesiest cards in the game, right? Like it just steals games. Like
Yeah.
I was losing on board. Like I was very very not going to win that game, and that card completely changed that. So
Yeah.
and even saying like it's even tough, right? Like I don't know that you necessarily had a way to play around it. Like the aggro deck's just supposed to swing. You can't bank on the opponent having it. Like I know some of the top comments are going to be like, why not leave him with 2 shields? Why not just swing with
Completely
Paladin there?
ridiculous.
Right, because the deck has much higher odds to just have removal to deal with those creatures and put him in the same position over the course of the next however many turns he wants to continue to play that game. Like him going wider with me having 9 to 10 plus mana was never going to be correct. Like
Yeah,
if he
this
if he
card's
saw the
like,
lethal he has it, and then just
there's
go.
more Sky Swap. There's Sky Sword. There's Soul Swap to get Sky Swords recycled. There's like limited removal options. Like in so many cases, you could lose the game because you left your opponent with an extra shield, and then you can't close. In only one case do you lose because you broke the extra shield, and it's that case. So you
Right.
do the aggro thing. More
Yeah.
often, I wouldn't say every single time. Like if you know your opponent has meltdown, like if they're telegraphing it somehow, or if you've seen them search for it, then yeah, okay, you're playing around it then. But in most cases, you probably don't.
Yeah.
Which is
If you
why I
haven't
consider it
seen
a
it at
cheese
that
card,
point,
right?
yeah.
It's in the same vein as Arcade La Serena, where it's like, yes, you could play around it 95% of the time. You just play your game as usual, and you hope your opponent doesn't have it, which means sometimes it cheeses you out and it wins the game. Doesn't make it an unskilled card, just means sometimes it's gonna quote unquote steal a game. But that's why it's in the
Yeah.
deck.
Right. So see bronze arm tribe here. No first shield trigger. Um, but unfortunately, even having the bronze arm into the sky sword can't beat just a phenomenal curve by you. Guard into, or no, a spinning terror on 2. You missed your 1 drop, but 3 had you play guard and jewel spider, and then turn 4 there, play spin slicer on guard, break 3 shields, and now I really just don't have a great answer. Um,
Yeah, this is
Steering wave.
pretty
Steering
unwinnable.
wave is a loss. Yeah, I'm banking on Sky Sword and first shield pit, and even then my back's still up against the wall.
The only
So
real out here is like Sky Sword, enough shield triggers to survive, and then another meltdown exactly on curve. That's pretty much the
yeah,
only shot, I think.
yeah. Fortunately, I get to bounce with Jewel Spider. Yeah, it'll give you a card, but that's fine. Like Sky Sword is the card that needs to come down here. It does, and then I just have to hope, right? Just got to make it through this next turn or two and find a way to stabilize.
Oh yeah, I forgot you could just trade. Yeah, you don't actually need a shield trigger, so that's nice. You just need a meltdown again, and I know that.
Yeah,
Like I just saw it last game. Notice how I'm still not playing around it.
yeah,
just to let
yeah,
you all know. Because again,
yeah,
if I play around it, then I just get with an APOC and you have a shield left, and that's gonna be awful.
yeah. So here we are. APOC still clears board, which is great. And then as long as you don't have Spin Slicer, we can start cycling out Sky Swords and just getting back to the game.
Yeah.
So feeling good about this turn. I know I have uh, APOC in hand. The discussion becomes if I have the meltdown, which I do here. So we're gonna get to explore that option throughout this turn
So this
in
one,
the live discussion. I think
I
we're
like
having that.
not playing it because the odds are so low that I would be able to kill you. But again, me breaking the last shield last turn means if you had APOC and you played APOC, I could play double two. Then you'd have to remove them both again. Like you couldn't leave me with one because you have no shields. So I think
Right.
breaking was good. I could still reload the board, but I think you go for APOC, and then if I reload the board and you can't answer it, you always have meltdown as a Hail Mary next turn.
Right. Exactly. So, and you draw, have mana,
Oh,
and
I
have
actually
the
just killed
two
you.
into have the two into and you didn't have the shield trigger, and I slammed the meltdown saying, "Dang it." So,
Wow.
so it's one of these things. And again, back to just answering your comments before they come. Um, Meltdown was absolutely the incorrect play to make on that turn. Yes, it's a weird Hail Mary.
But
Yes, it
have we seen
presents
any gates yet?
quote unquote lethal. No, no, we
Okay.
hadn't. So it's one of those things, right, guys? Like you play to the higher percentage. Unfortunately, yes, Meltdown was going to win that game with the hindsight knowledge, but it was like less than 5% if I had to put a number on it, versus if I APOC his board,
Wait, that's not true.
it's also super low. I mean, it's got to be in the 10 percentile, right? Like
I was
of you
not
just not to have
90% to have one gate. There's only four gates in the deck, right? You're usually like
four
50-50.
four four shields out of 40 cards though. One in Yeah, so I guess it would have
One
been
in 10.
closer, probably like yeah, well
So
15, but
every other game I'll
you
have a
had
gate.
four shields, right? You had four shields, but yes. So it's one of those. Again, playing with the numbers there, and we're going to talk through this whole third match now about it. I guess we can talk more at the end once this match finishes.
That's
But
brutal.
yeah, clearing with APOC was correct. The odds of him having creature plus additional blue mana plus a spin slicer were so low in the three cards that he was going to have in his hand,
Yeah.
and he drew into it.
Lower than
And
50% basically, and that's all that matters because
yes,
Meltdown was like
right,
50-50 at best.
right. So, and at that point, I can start playing Sky Sword, whatever he plays. If I can't remove it and cycle Sky Sword with the swap, it's just Phal was set to win after that turn if I made it out of that turn, and unfortunately, it just didn't work out.
And you can only just stick one more creature, and then Meltdown becomes a lot safer. So you answered the first
Yeah,
Spin Slicer with
yeah,
ease with the Shield Trigger Soulswap, which was brutal, but second Spin Slicer is pretty good. And
yeah.
yeah, we're
And I
seeing
had
another
Bronze
situation
Arm.
where
Yeah,
it's hard to answer these
Bronze
huge
Arm
threats.
Bronze Arm also came down on turn 4 this game, which was super frustrating. Um, not seeing it early, and basically just a mirror of game 1, if you will. So really hoping things curve out here, but we're essentially a turn behind where we want to be, and Spin Slicer's actually on the board this time. So
It's
hard
here.
hard card to hard card to deal with. And we dealt with one. I'm not going to really have a great time dealing with the second one.
Another lucky
So,
ball on board. I mean, now you're at APOC mana for next turn, so as long as I don't play too many other creatures, uh, yeah, these are a lot of creatures though. They keep coming down. You can answer everything but the lucky ball. Lucky
yeah,
ball proving
unfortunately,
it again why it's so
yeah,
big.
yeah, steering wave, not an answer here. I have what looks like a Crimson Hammer in hand, but that's going to have to be combined with a lot of cards. Um,
There was another
Sky
APOC,
Sword's
right? Was
not
I
going to be able
imagining
to
that?
answer anything on board.
I thought
If
there
I
was
have
a.
it, that would be great.
No, I thought it was in your hand. Maybe I was seeing it, and I thought it was the hammer or something. Yeah, I don't have the mana for Belix APOC, but this is
Yeah, I
not
take
the
you off of
absolute
yeah,
worst.
yeah, take you off of 1,000 power creatures, and then just have 2 creatures. But unfortunately, Ball plus Spiral Gate is the game.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
the early mana decision on the APOC when just trying to keep the hand progression that I did have alive was not great, and just found all my removal, but just not in a timely way that made sense. So
Yeah. APOC's usually pretty important. I thought Bazagaziel was APOC. That's the card that looked like APOC.
yeah. Yeah, I think Bazagazio came in some of those draws later, or it might have been in Shields. Who knows? But yeah, difficult time for foul control. It's tough. You play Meltdown, right, and like you roll the dice on that 50-50, and unfortunately it just was a bad roll that time. You had everything you needed to come out of that turn at the exact right time, and foul takes the loss because of it.
Yep. Hate to see it. After such a good season 1, it hasn't really things haven't gone its way in the last 2 bracket tournaments. And we
Yeah.
love Phal Forbos, whatever you want to
Yeah,
call it.
yeah, it's a fun deck. I still consider, and I think, I mean, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think it's probably one of the better control decks that exists. Right? It just
Yeah.
acts as a toolbox. It has all the colors you want to do all the things you want. Um, yeah, it's just a good deck. It's a fun deck. But unfortunately, yeah, loses out to Water Dark Aggro. Water Dark Aggro, having a very good showing why it's a force to be reckoned with. Um, Turns out Lucky Ball in an aggro deck is just incredibly strong. High tempo, high momentum, 3,000 power, just stick to beat them with, if you will. And,
Yep.
plays all the other good cards, right? And I think where it loses out on the good one drops that Nature and Fire give you, it comes back to the table, just like Light Fire, just like Pincer. Um, or excuse me, not Light Fire, Water Fire and Water Nature Pincer. Um, does those things, but just has that darkness section of just strong 2 drops to rely on and Spin Slicer, right? It's essentially just a Bark Whip, but faster and harder to deal with. So,
And a blocker for whenever
and a
you might need
blocker.
one of
Yeah,
those
yeah.
as you're
Don't
aggroing your
don't
opponents.
don't have any one cost beast folk out there. Otherwise, you got to give it to Spin Slicer. So yeah, guys, leave a like, comment down below, let us know what you think. We've got, Fire Nature and Water Dark Aggro up against each other in the top 8 coming at you here in the next few weeks. Stay tuned for that, and then next week we'll be back for the final leg of the top 16. Light Water Dark Nature Ice Sword, Light Water Nature Alcadius, and a few more deck profiles to round out our top 16 before we jump into the top 8.
Yep.
Guys, we'll see you next time. Beach.
Each.